everyone, welcome to Monday night and Tales from the Cutting Room Floor. Here's all the stuff that didn't make it into the sermon yesterday. And let me just tell you, it was a long sermon and I got a lot of stuff in yesterday, I don't mind saying. But it's the whole chapter 5 of 2 Kings, so there's a lot of stuff there. It's a fascinating story about this guy named Naaman. If you didn't catch it, he gets leprosy, and this little girl is the one who brings the good news and says, you should go see the man in Samaria, the prophet. And he runs into Elijah. Eventually, he comes with gold and silver and 10 sets of clothes, and he knocks on the door, and Elisha sends out a messenger, and Naaman is offended by that because, hey, I'm an important person, and he's like, I'm not gonna go wash in the Jordan River. I'm not doing that. He was expecting to either pay for it or to work for it. But eventually his servants tell him, hey, if he asks you to do something really big, you would have done it. So why don't you do this really small thing and take care of business? And he does, and he comes out of the water and his leprosy is gone. And that's an awesome story. And I kind of pointed out how beautiful it is when we have that simple childlike faith, which is kind of just do what he says and believe and trust. And boy, that's a great gift. If you have childlike faith where you don't have to have every answer figured out and everything, accounted for, where you can just be a child of God and go, I don't know how he does it, but he does it. I don't know how Jesus turned water into wine. I don't know exactly how his body and blood get into bread and wine at the Lord's Supper, but he said it. I don't know how he, came back from the dead. I don't know how he does those things, but he says it and it happens, and you go, okay. I do feel sorry for those who just don't have that childlike faith. It's a great blessing if you have it, because they want to know, like, rational, honest to goodness, scientific proof. And the Bible's not too keen on giving us scientific proof. It's not a science book, it's not a history book, it's a love letter. And so it wasn't designed to give us all the hows and whys. It just tells us, here it is. It's mostly the story about how God's saying, you are a child. I love you. I rescued you. Follow me, And that's a great, great gift. Instead of trying to work it off, work for your salvation. No. People still try to be a good person by doing more good things than bad things, and they try to work it off or try to pay for it in somehow, some way. And that's not the story here in 2 Kings already in the Old Testament. And hopefully I made that point. But then I did cut it. I cut it at verse 14. His flesh was restored and became clean like that of a young boy. I like that. But then Naaman and all his attendants go back to Elisha to thank him for the healing. So he still hasn't really got it, figured out that it's just a free gift. He wants to go back and pay for it. And he's got gold and silver, like 150 pounds of this stuff, and 10 sets of clothes. Then Elisha says this. He says, please accept this gift from your servant. Verse 16. Surely, as the Lord lives, whom I serve, I will not accept a thing. And then he said, if you will not, Naaman said, please let me, your servant. So Naaman had a new master. This is great. He calls, your new servant, will you give me as much dirt as I can carry with me home? Because he's going to go off to this foreign country where they serve other gods. And he takes a whole cartload of dirt from Israel, so that when he goes to, and he asks for forgiveness ahead of time. Naaman's like the second in command. He has this king, his boss, who goes into this pagan temple and he bows down and worships it. And what Naaman wants to do is, he says, listen, I'm stuck. I'm going to go back home. My boss is going to bring me in and we're going to have to worship in front of this fake god. So here's what I want to do. Will this be okay? He's trying to work it all out. If I just bring some dirt and throw it on the ground beforehand, and I'll kneel down, but I'll really be kneeling to the true God. Isn't that wild? And Elisha says, go for it. I love that. He didn't say, well, technically, you know, it's that childlike faith. He's like, and people will know, like, why are you, he says, when they throw the dirt on the ground, people are going to ask, why are you doing that? And he's going to say, well, I'm actually bowing down to the one true God. But he's also going to honor his master, who still doesn't have the right answers yet. That's fascinating. Beautiful, wonderful. But here's the kicker. It kind of ends on a sad note, because Elisha, so you got Elijah, he went off, you know, in the fiery chariot, leaving Elisha now in charge. Well, now Elisha has a next in line. His name, it's hard to pronounce. Gehazi. Gehazi? I don't know what that name is. Well, anyway, this guy's the next one in charge. He's going to be next in line. He should know better. Naaman goes off with the dirt, the gold, the silver, the 10 sets of clothes, and the servant, we'll call him G, he catches up to Naaman, and he says, hey, you know what, on second thought, maybe a little bit of gold and maybe a couple sets of clothes would be okay. And Naaman says, sure, take what you want. And he does. And then here's the sad part. He comes back home to Elijah after he's hidden the clothes and the money. And he says, verse 26 is how it answered. First he denies going anywhere. Elisha says, where have you been? And he says, I didn't go anywhere. But Elisha said to him, was not my spirit with you when the man got down from his chariot to meet you? Is this the time to take money or to accept clothes, olive groves, vineyards, flocks, herds, or manservant or maidservants? Naaman's leprosy will cling to you and to your descendants forever. Then G went from Elisha's presence, and he was leprous, as white as snow. And that's how chapter 5 actually ends. What a sad thing. And it's really not about how we shouldn't accept gifts or anything like that. That's not the gist. It's about the heart. And what Elisha didn't want to accept anything from Naaman because he was a baby believer. And he didn't want him to associate in any way, shape, or form that you had to reciprocate. God's gift is a gift of grace, grace, grace. And so he didn't want anything at all associated with, yeah, okay, give me a little something or something like that for the, no way. But of course, the other servant chases after him because we're all greedy. And I really feel bad for the guy because that's probably something dumb like I would have done. So he got leprous. Bummer. But that didn't make it into the sermon. Maybe we'll save that for another day. Kind of reminds me of the Ananias and Sapphira in Acts chapter 5. The same thing. That how that money and that material stuff really does kind of get in our hearts and does mess things up. Well, God's blessings to you. Hope you have a great, great, great day in the Lord, and look forward to seeing you back live at Messiah. Is that next week? Is that Sunday already? Wow, that'll be cool. That'll be cool. And we'll see you then. If not, hey, just keep on watching. Keep on being the church. Love ya. Blessings. Peace.